Brandy Nelson with the Brandy Nelson Real Estate team at Century 21 Signature Real Estate. You are into lesson number 5 of our videos for listing your house, getting your house ready to list. Video number 5. Today we're going to talk about curb appeal. Curb appeal is another big one. You really need to think about curb appeal because a lot of buyers will do a drive-by before they even call an agent to see a house, or they'll call a sign call, anything like that. They'll do a drive-by and check out your property. So we really need to have that first impression be a great one. And depending on the time of year, as I am videoing this, taping this for this series, it's like 2 degrees outside and we've got about a foot of snow. So keep in mind your time of year. Make sure if it is winter, make sure that your sidewalks are shoveled, your driveway is cleaned out. There aren't any snow items, no ice. Do really think about, especially in winter when buyers and agents are walking up to your house, are there any trip hazards? Is there ice and snow that will be in their way? Even if your home is vacant, you need to make sure that somebody is going to clean out that snow and shovel your drive, plow your drive, shovel your sidewalks, and make sure that your doorways are cleared. If it is summer, make sure that someone is mowing your yard. Highly suggest, fertilizing the yard, making sure your grass looks good, especially if you have pets who have done a number on your yard. Need to make sure that those spots are taken care of. Again, it's just that first impression. It may or may not be what the buyer actually does or takes care of at your house, but we want them to think that your home is perfect, and the way you take care of your property has a big influence on that. Siding. We see here in Iowa a lot of times if you've got one side of your siding that gets quite a bit of shade, we do see mildew grow on some of our siding. You can rent or borrow a power washer. Be careful if you're working on vinyl siding. Don't put it full blast straight at that siding, but you can wash that off. They make quite a few different cleaners. Some are natural. Make sure you don't kill the grass with whatever you use, but you can definitely get that cleaned up. Again, buyers will assume that something is a bigger deal than it is. And so if it's no big deal, I'm not telling you to cover things up. I'm just telling you, that mold, mildew, whatever that is that gets on the side of houses, it just needs cleaned up. It's because we have get a lot of shade on some of the sides of our houses, along with a lot of humidity all at the same time. And that is what causes that. Make sure that your house numbers are easy to read from the street. The last thing we want is for a buyer not to be able to find your house. Think about different times of the day, different lighting. I went to a house the other night, couldn't decide which house it was, trying to figure it out. They didn't have house numbers that were easily readable. They were in an odd spot. They weren't very big, and in the dark, I just couldn't see them. Windows, again, we talked about that a little bit in the cleaning and in repairs. Make sure those windows are clean and bright. I would say from the outside, just make sure those windows are clean. We'll talk about them again in staging when we talk about those from the inside. Leaves. If you are getting ready to sell and it's fall or spring and we've just gone through the winter season, make sure those gutters are cleaned out. Nothing says I don't take care of my house more than gutters that have little trees growing out of them or are overflowing with leaves. Make sure those are cleaned out. Landscaping. If your landscaping is overgrown, make sure you get it cut back. Any dead plants or flowers in your landscaping, go ahead and take those out and replace them. I would even say if you have landscaping that is overtaking your house, growing up way in front of the windows, or have just really gotten out of control, make sure those get cut back if not taken out. I'd rather see less landscaping than landscaping that's out of control and starting to overrun the house. Easy to read numbers, windows, clean and power wash. I would even say if you have a power washer out, rinse off that concrete, your walkway, your driveway, any sidewalks. Just make sure it's all nice and clean. Even inside your garage where your car has been being parked. Sometimes that's, if you have people that go into your property through the garage, possibly through a code or a side door. If that's the first thing they see, make sure that that is nice and clean. Landscaping, we talked about that a little bit. A lot of times I'll tell people if you've got a big front entry to your house, say you've got a big porch or at least a large step, buy a nice simple pot and put some very colorful flowers out front. Color is great, especially in the spring when we're coming off a really drab, gray, dirty snow type area. Some bright color, it's really a nice pop as somebody walks up to your front door. So those are the big things. Think about curb appeal. Pull up to your house as a buyer would. A lot of times sellers just open up their garage door, pull in. They don't even think about what their front entry looks like. Make sure those house numbers are visible and easy to see. If you have any lighting outside, make sure those bulbs are replaced and working, nothing burned out. Sometimes those fixtures need wiped out or cleaned. If you have an overhang porch, make sure there's no cobwebs. Just general clean. First impression is huge. Like I said, pull up to your house like you are a buyer, not like you are a seller. And that is my lesson for today. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Hope you have a great day.